In fact, we are starting right now. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here this evening. I am Rabbi Barry Silver. This is Cantor Carol Garrett. We are here to facilitate the celebration, the observance, the joy of Shabbat. And it is a joy to be here. Celebrating Shabbat has many, many advantages. I'll be sharing some of them with you. One of the advantages is that you cannot celebrate Shabbat alone. It requires other people. It requires a village. It requires a group. Community. And the group, or the community, does not have to be only Jewish. We at L'Dor Va-Dor believe in interfaith, ecumenical, interspecies. We have dogs here, we have people here, we have people of all backgrounds here, because Shabbat was meant to be a day of rest and joy for everyone on earth. And you are part of Congregation L'Dor Va-Dor, and courtesy of the Carlisle, which is kind enough to allow us to extend our message, and once in a while a controversial song or two with you. And so thank you very much. This is called Cosmic Judaism, Rational Judaism. The term was actually coined by probably the greatest Jew of modern times and the smartest person, perhaps who ever lived, Albert Einstein. He said the future of religion will be a cosmic religion. And little did he know that those words would be prophetic. He is a modern day prophet, and we are practicing what he preached and what he envisioned. Rational Judaism that unites us with our higher nature and with the entire cosmos. That is what we're here for. By the way, if you hear anything that you would like to take issue with or agree with or perhaps disagree with, feel free to join in, okay? Because we like this to be participatory. We're going to begin with a beautiful song called Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Join me, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to continue with a song called L'Chadodi. It compares the Sabbath to a bride, because when we get married, we get to start all over again. We see each other through the eyes of love, and all of our mistakes and faults are erased, at least on day one. 10, 20 years later, I'm not so sure that's the case, but we compare Shabbat with a bride, a new start, a fresh start each week. So we sing Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha, ki hem echor habracha. Me'arosh mekadem gimela, kevod Adonai alech limcha. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. If you'd like to stand and face the doorway for the Boi Kala.
welcoming the Sabbath bride.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובזכולה, תוך עמנו עם גאולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. You may turn back. לך, לך דודי, דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Siéntanse, por favor. Asseyez-vous. Please be seated. We are going to be discussing throughout the service the benefits of Shabbat. I mentioned that you can't celebrate on your own. You got to be with other people, and that's a great thing, to be with other people. I can tell you that I greatly appreciate everyone here who comes to join with us. What makes Shabbat really special is to be with so many people that I've known for a very long time, some people that I'm meeting for the very first time, but it really makes Shabbat special to get to spend time and to meet other people. Another great thing about Shabbat is we celebrate certain values and virtues. One of them is love, and one of them is reason or rational thinking. We have symbols in order to remind us of how important these things are. 2 candles we have. One stands for the light of reason and rational thought, and the other, the light of love. When we light the candles and we celebrate Shabbat with candles, the ritual must be translated into the spiritual. As we see the candles, we must think to ourselves, can I be more loving? Can I be more rational? Can I study more, learn more? That's what we do on Shabbat. We learn, we study, we share love. These are great qualities that we seek to emulate with the lighting of the candles. And for this, we have Harriet and Alan Reisman. Did I pronounce that correctly? And they are celebrating their 71st anniversary. As my dad used to say, a very good beginning. So come on up, please. Light the Shabbat candles. Might take them a little longer to get here than it did 71 years ago, but they don't have too far to go, and we're thrilled to have you celebrating your 71st anniversary with us. I think that might be a record at L'Dor Va-Dor. Have we ever had anybody a couple come up to light the candle celebrating their 71st anniversary? I don't think so. I think you're making L'Dor Va-Dor and probably Carlisle history tonight. So don't get too nervous. Yeah, whatever you like. Let's see if he can do it. I'm glad he's good for something. Okay. Yeah, I know.
Good Shabbos. I don't know if it's right or wrong.
That's pretty good.
Good job.
Come, let us welcome Sabbath and give thanks for its light. May our home shine with lights of Shabbat, and our hearts glow with Shabbat joy this week and every week. We welcome Shabbat and give thanks for its light. May we be blessed with Shabbat joy and Shabbat peace as we light the Sabbath candle.
All right, very good. Now, do you two have anything you'd like to share with us? You seem to still like each other, is that right? Okay, do you have any secrets that you'd like to share for how after 71 years you still like each other and get along pretty well?
I try very hard.
You try very hard to do what? Hey, that's pretty good. Okay. What about you? What's your secret?
My secret is that I love him, and I met him when I was very young.
Young and naive or young and wise?
Very young and naive.
All right. Well, if you had to do it over again,
15 years old.
now after 71 years, if you had to do it again, would you still do it?
Of course.
Very good. Okay, just the way we rehearsed it. Thank you very much. Have a seat, please. Go ahead.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes it unanimous. Okay. If you want to renew your vows sometime, let me know. I do that. Okay, we can do it all over again. That's very good. He takes good care of you. Yes, I see that. Okay. All right, now we're going to also have another symbol. This is the wine, which reminds us that it's nice to be sweet and kind and to be joyous. To celebrate this, we have Bert Scholl, who's going to come up and lead us in the Kiddush. Microphone is yours.
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei pari hagafen.
Amen.
All Jewish celebrations, from holidays to weddings, include wine as a symbol of our joy, and Shabbat is no exception. The Kiddush, which means sanctification, marks Shabbat as sacred time. We recite the blessing before sipping the wine, which is sweet, making our holiday of Shabbat just a little bit sweeter. So we raise the cup and thanks, and I'll repeat the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei pari hagafen.
Listen to that smooth voice. He has a radio voice, doesn't he?
Yes. Anything that you'd like to share with us?
Well, at the risk of being controversial, which we never want to do here at the L'Dor, and taking leaf from your book, Rabbi, what's been on my mind all week, and for even more than the last week, is that dinner up the road at Mar-a-Lago a week or so ago, and some of the guests who came to dinner. It's been reported that some of the Jewish adherents of Donald Trump were a little taken aback by this, and perhaps are finally reaching the point now where they're beginning to want to dissociate themselves from him because of his bizarre antics. But I would like to contend that anybody who holds Jewish principles and tenets sacred should have realized a long, long time ago that some of the views espoused by our former president are incompatible with the Jewish teachings, and I'm a little bit shocked that they're only becoming disenchanted with it now. And that's it. I don't want to go any further and get too political.
Thank you.
I don't think you need to go any further. I think you said it very well, very, very well stated, and thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Anyone who comes up here is welcome to share their thoughts with us, and I do appreciate your candor about that. Yes, we have somebody in the back. Yes.
101 years old.
You have to repeat that in the microphone.
Very short. Go talk to her.
We're going to be honoring birthdays.
You're
yay.
celebrating your birthday? 101. What would you like to tell everybody about the secret of your longevity? You look like you're doing great.
You have to be very lucky.
Okay, you have to be very lucky. I'm reminded of the comment by Jimmy Connors, and I'll say this when I get back here. When you say you have to be very lucky. Jimmy Connors once won a tennis match, and the commentator said, Mr. Connors, you were very lucky to win that match. And he said, you know, I find the more I practice, the luckier I get. So to chalk it up, Jimmy Connors winning a championship to luck, I mean, the skill that he had is incredible. To chalk up 101 years to luck, I think you're being modest. Obviously, you're doing something right, and we congratulate you, and we celebrate with you. And thank you very much for joining with us and sharing that wonderful simcha. 101, you're doing awesome. And she's even sitting in the back because she can hear so well. She doesn't need to sit up front. That's pretty good. Or maybe she doesn't want to hear too much of what I'm saying, but It's great to have you. Now, we also have, on this occasion, because this is the first Friday of the month, we are going to celebrate the birthday and the anniversary for everyone who's celebrating this month. So I'm going to ask everyone who's celebrating a birthday or an anniversary, if you'd like, stand up for this wonderful blessing that we have.
My husband, because
In December.
Our anniversary is December.
Oh, he's being called out. Okay.
So is Rabbi's anniversary.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I'm already standing up. Okay. Francine, I'll have to have her stand up somewhere. Okay. So this is the blessing for everyone who's celebrating this month. You want to do the Yivarecha, Khan?
You want to?
Go ahead.
Yivarecha Adonai v'yismarecha.
May you be protected and preserved with good health.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'kuneka.
May the light of love shine upon you and be gracious unto you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May be lifted up by the power of love.
V'yasem lecha shalom.
And may you be a source of peace and make this a truly awesome year. Don't just consider this another year. Consider this another opportunity for a whole year to spread joy and love and peace and make this world a better place. Thank you for sharing your simcha with us. You may please be seated.
Happy birthday and happy anniversary, everybody. Simin tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'simin tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'simin tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'simin tov yehelanu. Simin tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'simin tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov u'simin tov u'mazel tov u'simin tov yehelanu.
Now we're going to begin the part of the Shabbat celebration where we have certain traditional prayers. These prayers, if you don't know Hebrew, can be translated or understood very simply as, let us give thanks. Our ancestors thanked a supernatural being who they believed kept every blade of grass in its place and supported the earth and made the sun go across the sky and shine upon us. Today we know a little better, and what we know is that the truth is far more miraculous, that wonders and miracles and mysteries are occurring every moment of the day within our bodies and without, and that we truly should be grateful for all the workings of this incredible universe that allows life to continue, that allowed us to be born, and that allowed us to win the genetic lottery of life. You know what the odds against any of us being here are? Imagine if your parents didn't meet, or if maybe they met but they were already dating somebody else, or your grandparents or your great-grandparents all the way back a million generations. And imagine the combination of DNA, even with your parents, that had to form you and me. The odds are astronomical. We beat the odds. We won the genetic lottery of life. We're here. It's a miracle. Let us never forget that. Let us take advantage of every day, every moment that we have. That's what these prayers are all about. They're about appreciating the gift of life. And when you ask, well, what's the purpose of Shabbat? It's not to take things for granted, but to celebrate the gift of life with others and to rejoice that we are all here together celebrating Shabbat as a congregational family. So we begin the prayer portion with responsive readings. If you can see the screen, they should be up there. You read the part in bold because we want you to read boldly. We celebrate this weekly opportunity to pause, rest, and take stock.
To cease the busyness that wears us down.
To set aside, if only for a short while, the problems that pursue us during the working week, and so appreciate each other's presence in our lives.
May we enjoy this different rhythm, these different values, and this place of safety and renewal, time out of time, we who bless and are blessed.
The Baruch Hu, let us give praise for creation.
You may
stand. Please stand.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Let us exalt and celebrate the wonder, beauty, and majesty of the creative power that gave rise to everything, including us. The Shema celebrates the unity of the cosmos.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. The V'ahavta reminds us that we should feel love towards all living things. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shachpecha u'v'chemecha u'kshachtam lo'ot ha'yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Emet. Now some of you might have noticed that my Hebrew sounds a little bit different than the Hebrew of the people who came up and read the blessings. Anybody know why that is? No? Anybody care? All right, I know some of you know. There's two main types of Hebrew, two different accents of Hebrew, kind of like in English, you have a southern accent and maybe a Midwest accent. In Hebrew, they have Ashkenazic and Sephardic. Ashkenazic comes from the word Ashkenaz, which is German, Germanic, and it refers to those Jews that were centered in Germany and then spread out throughout Europe and throughout Russia and Poland and all of those areas, Europe and Asia. That's Ashkenazic Hebrew. You hear that a lot because most of the Jews that live in the United States came originally from those countries. Poland, Russia, Romania, the European, the Asian countries. Then there's the Sephardic Hebrew. Sepharad means Spain. Those were Jews originally who lived in Spain, were expelled from Spain in 1492, and were exiled and moved into North Africa, Israel, the Middle East, Turkey. Those Jews spoke a language called Ladino, which is similar to Yiddish. It's a combination of Spanish and Hebrew, and it's called Sephardic Hebrew. When the Jews first came to Israel, the first wave was Sephardic Jews. And so Sephardic Hebrew became the language of Israel. And so if you go to Israel today, they speak Sephardic. Most Jews here speak Ashkenazic. In Israel, they speak Sephardic Hebrew. I learned Hebrew as a linguist as they speak it in Israel today. And also I'm a little bit younger than some of the folks here. There was a transition made. They started teaching Sephardic Hebrew in Hebrew school, but I learned Hebrew as a linguist, how it's spoken in Israel, not necessarily how it's heard in the synagogue. So my Hebrew is Sephardic. It's a little bit different, but it's all good. And now we're going to continue with Hashkivenu. It's an old song that gives thanks for the universe and the protective shield around us, but it interjects a scientific explanation rather than a supernatural one. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom L'Shalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Ufros aleinu Sukat Shlomecha
You shelter us beneath ozone, O Adonai, through miracles that now are known. You protect earth and sky to keep us safe throughout the night. Earth's heavenly atmosphere blocks cosmic rays, but lets in light so life can thrive down here. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom L'Shalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim Uparos aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Uparos aleinu Sukat Shlomecha Amen. Feel free to join with us if you'd like. Amen. This earthly plane and all the universe is your domain. Life you maintain as science does explain the miracle of nature's laws, create life and sustain. Amen. 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 We now give thanks to our parents, our grandparents, our ancestors who gave us this incredible heritage and passed it down to us, sometimes at the risk of their lives. We hope that we will prove worthy. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Socha, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת תורה אתה קדוש ושמך הקדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. We give thanks for our ancestors who saw the sanctity of all life and shared that vision with us. We now have Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
Please join me. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yididai, dai, 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 dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yididai, dai, 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 dai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yididai, dai, dai, you. And you must build this world from love. Giddy die, 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 we. And if we build this world from love, giddy die, 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 then God will build this world from love. Giddy die, 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 die. Olam chesed, olam chesed yibaneh. Giddy die, 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 die. Olam chesed yibaneh. Giddy die, 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 die.
I must give credit not only to our cantor for singing the song so beautifully, but also to Menachem Creditor. Have to give him credit because he wrote a song with a very profound message. By the way, Menachem means one who brings comfort. It's related to the word Noach, Menachem. But what he's saying is that if we're waiting around for a supernatural God to spread love and peace in the world, we might be in for a very long wait. Might take a long time. But if we consider that there's a little bit of godliness in us, in each one of us, this creative power, then we can build a world of love. We can create this world of love and peace, and then we can make it happen. Maybe not in the whole world, but at least in our little corner of the world, and that will help to start a chain reaction. We now are going to seek inner peace. Let us spend a few moments in silent meditation to think about how we can be that source of peace and love for others. Silent meditation. We now read the names of those who are ailing: Stephanie Arnold, Jeffrey Bricker, Laura Gallagher, Sherry Glass, Nadine Herbst, Carol Kahn, Caitlin Leah, Howard Mandel, Janice Mason, Hilda Nadelberg, Dr. Sudhir Nair, Marilyn Paul, Ira Phillips, Bernard Rosen, Libby Rubin, Laura Santa Cruz, Brett Schwartz, Harvey Shearer, Victor Siegel, Fred Spieloff, Roger Vargas, Douglas Volin, Jordan Volin, and Sheila Winston. Any other names that you'd like to mention? Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. Anybody else? We hope that all of those who are ailing within our orbit and throughout the world, that they will be given a refuah shlema, complete restoration to good health.
Mishebera avotinu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebera imotinu mikor habracha leavotinu. day new. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I'd like to ask everyone to share a Shabbat Shalom greeting with your neighbors. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, folks. All right. Nice to see all of you on this wonderful Shabbat. Greetings. We now have the pièce de résistance. We're going to read from the Torah, a passage called Vayeitzei. Before we do, we have another responsive reading. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
And before we read from the Torah, I'm going to sing one more of my songs. It's from Gordon Lightfoot, before I adulterated and plagiarized the tune. It's called If You Would Read the Torah.
If you would read the Torah, what a tale its words would tell about the old-time heroes in the land of Israel.
And when the world grows dark, we provide a spark to help the world to see our shared humanity. And we know when things go wrong, we must stay strong and sing our song of harmony. If you would read the portents and the writing on the wall, we could begin to fathom the rise of mankind and its fall. When the Jews are cursed, it brings out the worst in our society
and leads to tyranny.
But in those lands where Jews are blessed, it brings out the best, and it leads to liberty. Injustice here or injustice there is injustice everywhere,
as taught by Dr. King.
And if you read each sacred line, then you may find that love empowers everything, and love's power is so real. Everyone, I always hoped that I would feel this way, and I'm glad to say that I finally get it. Hate is wrong, so let's get along with a brand new song, and let's watch each other's back. And now we have the reading of the Torah. Before that, we have a blessing for everything. We have a blessing for the Torah. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Now we have a wonderful passage called Vayeitzei. If you're interested in the language of Hebrew, Vayeitzei probably doesn't mean much to you, but everybody here, or many people here, probably heard of the motzi. The motzi is the blessing over the bread. Hamotzi lecha means the one who brings out bread from the earth. Vayeitzei is related to that same verb, and he was brought out. Vayeitzei Yaakov mi Beersheba, and Jacob came out of or left Beersheba, vayelech Harana. At the end of a word means towards, so he went towards Haran, where his family had come from originally. Vayifga b'mkom vayalan sham kiva hashemesh vayikach me'evnei hamakom vayisam meroshotav. And he decided to spend the night there, and he used one of the rocks as a pillow, and he placed his head upon the rock. The accommodations there were a little Spartan. וישכב במקום ההוא, ויחלום, והנה סולם מוצב ארצה, וראשו מגיע השמיימה. And I guess this is what happens when you use a rock for a pillow. You start having some weird dreams. So Jacob had this dream, and he dreamt that he saw a ladder, a sulam, Mutzav Arza. You probably know the word Eretz, like Eretz Yisrael. Eretz means land. And as I mentioned, means towards. Arza means that its foundation was towards the ground. It went into the ground. Urosho, Rosh is head, like Rosh Hashanah. Urosho, and its head, or the top, Magia Hashamayma, extended up. And again, that's the at the end. Shamayim is the heavens. Shamayma means it extended up into the heavens. V'hineh malachei Elohim olim v'yordim bo. And behold, angels were going up and coming down this ladder. V'hineh Adonai nitzav alav. God himself appeared at the top of the ladder. V'yomer ani Adonai Elohei Avraham avicha. And he said, I am the God of Abraham, your father, Ve'Elohei Yitzchak, and the God of Isaac, ha'aretz asher ata shochev aleha lecha etnena ulezarecha. That land on which you are now placing your head in these very sparse accommodations, I'm giving this land to you and to your descendants. V'haya zarecha ka'afar ha'aretz. And your descendants will number as great as the dust of the earth. V'charatzta yama, and they will spread out to the sea. There's that at the end. Yam is water, like mayim, yama, towards the sea. Ukadma, towards the east. Tafulna, towards the north. Unegba, that's towards the Negev, or towards the south. V'nivracha v'cha kol mishpachot adama. Mishpachot is plural for a word that you probably know, mishpacha. You know what mishpacha is? Family. Kol mishpachot is all the families, ha'adama. Adama is like Adam, the earth. All the families on the earth, nivrachu. That's related to the word baruch, berech, blessed. All the families of the earth will be blessed, b'cha, through you, uvizarecha, and through your descendants. V'hinei anochi imach v'shamarticha b'chol asher telech, and I am with you, and I shall protect you in everything you do, wherever you go. V'yishteveticha al hadama hazot ki lo e'azah b'cha ad asher im asiti et asher dibarti lach. And I will not forsake you, I will not abandon you until everything that I have promised has come true. V'yikatz Yaakov mishnato v'yomer achen yesh Adonai b'makom hahu v'anochi lo yadati. And he said, this is amazing. He said, God dwells in this place, and I did not know it. We think of that sometimes when the prophets say, we walk sightless among miracles. There is godly miracles going on in this world every day. We don't even realize it. We're sightless. And Jacob said, how miraculous is this place? It's nothing less than Beit is from the word bayit. which is house. This is the house of God. V'zeh sha'al ha-shamayim. And this place is a gateway towards Hashamayim, towards the heavens. V'yishkem Yaakov baboker v'yikach et ha'even asher sam merashotav v'yasem oto hahu bet el v'ulam loach sam ha'ir l'rashona. And he took that stone and he used it as a foundation for an altar. According to tradition, this became the foundation stone for the temple. Yidal Yaakov neder lemor im yihye Elohim imadi v'shamarni b'derech asher anochi holech v'natan li lechem le'achol uveged lichbosho v'savita b'shalom et bet avi v'haya Adonai li Elohim. And Jacob engages in a little transaction. He's not quite convinced that he's going to accept God as his God, but he says, hey, I'll tell you what, if you provide for me, if you make sure I am safe and protected, then I will make you my God. Some people fault Jacob for being so transactional, but he was a little worried. He just cheated his brother out of his birthright. His brother was very scary and ominous. He was afraid that his brother was going to kill him. And so you can't really fault him. He said, protect me, and if you do, I'll make you my God. Not the most loyal thing you could say, but it's a beginning. The blessing after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu tuchat emet, v'chai olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. My friends, we have seen, as was mentioned by Bert, a lot of dysfunctionality in the world. A lot of people doing some pretty crazy stuff. And they say, what is the difference between a neurotic and a psychotic? And we do have a therapist here, so I have to be very careful about my terminology to make sure I get it right. The neurotic builds castles in the sky, and the psychotic lives in them. And the psychiatrist collects rent. I'm reminded of this because this is an amazing story. It's about somebody who's actually building castles. He's dreaming about a ladder that ascends up to heaven. It's called a sulam, which is actually very similar to the word in Arabic for peace, which is salam, which is related to shalom. He builds this castle in the sky. But you notice the foundations of it are on the earth. This, my friends, is an archetype for what the Jewish people is all about. We are a people of dreamers. We dare to dream big. We dream of ascending all the way to the heavens. But how could any of us get there? That's a long jump. It's kind of hard to fly there, especially 3,000 years ago. How would you do it? My friends, this story tells us how to do it. One step at a time. The ladder allows you to go from here all the way up there as high as you want, one rung at a time. Now, many of us think, well, I can't get to heaven. That's too difficult. But can you take one step up? Can you be a little kinder? Can you do a good deed? Can you lift up the spirits of someone? Can you participate, as you are today, in this service and get a little bit higher? And then the next day, a little bit higher? That is practical. In fact, that's how human beings came to be, through evolution. Exceptionally gradual progress that you could not even see from one generation to the other. But nevertheless, it occurred. That's how we got to be the way we are. That's how the Jewish people came to be. If you look at the Torah, it's primitive. Many parts of it are barbaric. Many parts of it are cruel, unscientific. How did we get to how we are today? Because we didn't say that this is inerrant and can't be changed. Yes, our ancestors found ways of trying to rationalize the irrational, and they tried to find ways to make it seem like it was God's word. But today, we don't have to do that anymore. We can simply say, we have progressed with science, with reason, with philosophy, with the arts, with music, with progress. My friends, what the Torah is trying to tell us is nothing less than that we humans are capable of godliness, that we are capable of ascending to the heights of heaven. Not all religions believe that. Many say, no, you were born evil. You can't ascend to that. Your nature is evil. You can't ascend to that. Or they say your fate is fixed. The best you can hope for is just accept your fate and be done with it. And maybe in the next lifetime, maybe something better will happen. Or many religions teach that human beings on their own, we're not going to make it. We have to wait till the next life, the next world. And there's no evidence that such a world exists. Not Judaism. Judaism gives us the blueprint. And it says that you can do it. And our people have been doing it ever since. One step at a time. Seeking the heights of heaven. And as the angels went up and down, each of us can be like an angel, bringing these teachings, bringing love, bringing the light of reason, bringing that back down to earth to fulfill our sacred mission. But my friends, too many of us don't take it seriously. We think we're not capable. We think, well, we're only human. We think, well, Judaism doesn't really expect that of us. All we're supposed to do is just, come to synagogue and say a few prayers. That's not why our ancestors gave their lives for our heritage. That's not why they risked it all to preserve the Torah. It wasn't just for some mindless rituals. It was to be mindful, not mindless. Mindfulness, that's what the therapists teach us. To appreciate what we have, to strive to do better, to set goals for our life, and to find the thrill of achievement and accomplishment, and going up higher and higher, one rung at a time. Each one of us are capable of doing that. That's why we have this wonderful story. It's the dream of the Jewish people. It's a dream that we have been able to accomplish many times over. They say, build your castles in the sky. That's where they belong. Now lay the foundations. And it's up to each one of us to lay the foundations. Our people are nothing without all of us doing it. And it's not just the rabbi or the teachers or the cantors. Each one of us has the ability to ascend to great heights and be part of this mission, and also to advance human knowledge and learning so that Judaism, as it happens here with cosmic Judaism, can evolve, can grow, and can introduce something that the world hasn't seen before. Imagine if we were stuck with Ptolemy. The earth is the center of the universe, and you can't change that. Where would we be if nobody challenged that and said, no, that's not true? It can be changed. But my friends, I just want to share with you also something that was raised by Bert. We have today, despite these great dreams of the Jewish people, we have people who don't see these dreams at all. In fact, they don't see anything positive about the Jewish people. And partly because the Jewish people doesn't even see the dreams that we have. We don't even understand what it really means to be Jewish. It's not just showing up in synagogue. It's nothing short of radically changing the world. But we have people who not only don't share that dream, they want to try to destroy us because they don't believe in that dream. They believe in might makes right. They believe in raw power. They don't believe in the power of love. They believe in the love of power. We've seen them. They rear their ugly head. And as was mentioned, we see it today. We saw it in the past in the 30s, and there was a great rabbi named Joachim Prinz who fled Nazi Germany. And he said, I saw it all. I saw the evil. I saw the destruction. I saw the carnage. But the worst thing I saw, the most shameful thing I saw, was silence. A great cultured nation became a nation of onlookers. We were silent in the face of cruelty, barbarism, and atrocities. That was the greatest evil. My friends, today we also have people, groups, even political parties that pretend to not see the fascism around them, to not see the evil, to not see the anti-Semitism, to look the other way, to be silent, to be complicit. We should call them the Nazi Party. Because the lesson of history is that if you turn away and you don't rebuke and repudiate and reject these hateful teachings, then you will eventually be taken over by it. And my friends, it will take you over, and then you become complicit, and then it becomes you. And if there is a political party that refuses to reject and renounce anti-Semitism loud and clear, then they should be called the Nazi Party until they reject fanaticism, fascism, and anti-democratic insurrection. And we have an obligation to help them to see. We are the light to the nations. And my friends, when we speak up and remember our identity and not allow anyone to allow us to commit self-imposed identity theft by forgetting that we're Jews, the light, and try to get us to be quiet, we need to speak up. And when we do, we will be the light of the nations. And then there will be no more Nazi parties. Everyone will be able to see through these candles. They'll be able to see through the light of love, the light of reason, the light of Rahmanis. And then the dreams of our prophets will be true. And we will create a world, as my dad used to say, brimming with brotherhood, joyous with justice, and shimmering with shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Now it is my pleasure, thank you, it is my pleasure to call up Cantor Garrett for a beautiful song which we call Erev Shel Shoshanim, an evening of roses.
Erev Shel Shoshanim Netzena El Habustan Mor B'Samim Ulevona L'Raglich Miftan Laila Yored Leyat Veruach Shoshan Noshva Havelchach Lachshir Balad Zemer Shel Ahava Laila Yored Leyat Veruach Shoshan Noshva Havelchach Lachshir Balad Zemer Shel Ahava.
We continue with the Aleinu. If you'd like, please stand.
It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we're free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the stories of the ones who came before. What stories will be told to us if we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. We bring meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own our vision. We are the answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise.
We continue with the Kaddish. Before we read the Kaddish, we mention the names of those who have recently been summoned from us: Edley Davidoff, Louis Greenberg, Shelley Levy, Peggy Mintz, Linda Pruskin, Ruth Rubin, Ellen Silverstein, Martin Wolf. Those the anniversary of whose departure occurs these days: Max Blitz, Harry Brusso, Alex Cohen, Anna Coleman, David Cooper, Joseph Cooperstein, Florence Elias, Benjamin Feynman, Rose Feynman, Mary C. Field, Roger S. Field, Abraham Fine, Denville Garrett, Irving Gerstein, Muriel Goldsmith, Alfredo Gomez, Derry Hyman, Harry Jacobs, Ava Jacoby Molrad, Anna Kraus, Carl H. Lichtman, Murray Mate, Rose Mate, Tilly Pensack, Abraham Perlman, Stuart Plotnick, Eva Purish, Jack Robarts, Herbert Rothschild, Dorothy Salzer, Max Schatzer, Donald Schipper, Molly Shapiro, Charles Silverberg, H. Kimeen Silverman, Max Spruckman, Donald Steinman, Phyllis Stratton, Irving Tron, and Jerome Wodiska. Anybody else? Yes? Yes? Yes. 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 Thank you very much for submitting those names. We hope that all those who remember and recall that their memory will be a blessing through us. We read the Kaddish. Yiskadal v'yiskadash Shemel Haba.
Amen.
V'yomad yivrach rusei v'yamlich ma'achusei. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeducho beis Yisrael. V'agalav yizman karib emru amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba mivorach la'olam omei omaya. Yisborach v'yistabach v'yisporar v'yishoma v'yisnaseh. V'yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal Shemei k'dusha berechu. Le'elam min kol b'chasa v'shirasa. Tush b'chasa v'nechamasa. Da'am yachon v'yoma v'yimru amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba min Shmaya v'chayim. Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu. V'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for the final benediction, which actually, go ahead, sit down. You don't need to stand for this part. I just want to share with you a postscript to what I was saying. The passage says that those who bless the Jews will be blessed, and those who curse the Jews will be cursed. The Roman Empire treated the Jews pretty well, and they thrived until the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. And then the empire began to collapse. The country of Spain treated its Jews very well until they expelled the Jews, and then the country collapsed. The German culture was the greatest culture at the time, till they mistreated the Jews, and then the society collapsed. America has treated the Jewish people well, and we have thrived. The future remains to be seen. If the United States does not actively stamp out anti-Semitism, it will not just indicate a decadent society and be bad for the Jews. It will spell disaster for America. And now we have announcements. I'm happy to call up Sharon to share with us some announcements here at L'Dor Va-Dor. If you want to see them all without having to be reminded, just go on our website, l'dorvador.org, and you can find out what's going on in the world.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you, Rabbi Barry, for a beautiful service and a great sermon. And thank you, Cantor Carol. And thank you to all of you for attending and all those virtual. This Tuesday, December 6th, we have our Touch of Torah, our Torah study each week. Very unique Torah study with a rational approach, as Rabbi Barry said. On next week, December 9th, we'll have our Shabbat service here. And on December 16th, we will have a Shabbat in a different location, which we will tell you about in our newsletter, so be aware of that. On September 10th, Saturday at 10:45, we'll have the Men's Club breakfast at First Watch. And Sunday, December 11th at 1:30 p.m., we'll have our Sisterhood Ladies Lunch at Chris's Taverna. Please RSVP to me or to the temple phone number prior so that this week so that we can count you in for the reservation. On Sunday, December 18th at 1:45, we have our Hanukkah happening, our party at the Delray Beach Hagen Ranch Road branch in a beautiful room there. We'll have nosh, we'll have singing, we'll have music, we'll have a community menorah lighting, and it will be a lot of fun. Please RSVP for that as well. And thank you. As Rabbi said, you can find all of these on our links on our website, and we hope that you will help volunteer and give us your treasure, your talent, and your time. Thank you very, very much. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Sharon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon. Wherever we go, everybody's welcome to join with us and participate in our Shabbat service, wherever it might be. We are going to continue now with, I don't think I've ever heard this before, have I?
No, I don't think you have.
If I haven't, you probably haven't heard it either. The Angel's Blessing by Debbie Friedman.
May our right hand bring us closer to our godliness. May our left hand give our strength to face each day. And before us may our visions light the path ahead. And behind us may well-being heal our way. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah.
Some of you might wonder what Shekhinah means. It's a word that describes God, but in a rather metaphysical sense. It's feminine, and so it's describing God in a feminine sense. But what it means is it's like a presence. And you could describe it like if you took a human being who is no longer living, then you compare that person right after death to the person when he was living, what would the difference be? The chemicals, the elements in the body would be the same, but there would be something a little bit different. That's Shekhinah. If you look at the universe, it's comprised of physical elements, but there's something going on here. Wonder is called life. That difference between the physical and the essence, the spiritual essence, that's Shekhinah. It's a presence, a spiritual presence within everything. That's one of the words for God. We're now going to continue with the Motzi, which is related to, as I said, the name of the passage, Vayeitzei. We give thanks for the miracle of food coming out of the ground. Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And since we do things a little differently here and modernize things, we're going to go back to an old favorite, one of the most traditional songs to end the service, Ein Keloheinu.
Please join
For all those
me.
traditionalists who say, hey, I want to hear something that I used to hear when I was a kid. Join in. Ein Keloheinu.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Noda Eloheinu, Noda Ladonenu, Noda Lemalkeinu, Noda Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu.
Shabbat Shalom. Join us in the back if you'd like. I think there's some refreshments. Not too elaborate, but we do offer you camaraderie and a little repartee. So come and join us in the back for the oneg. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.